Vernomatic Productions.
Are you ready?
Live from the Metal Mayhem Studios in Rochester, New York.
We are gold. We are gold.
And heard around the world by metalheads just like you. This is Metal Mayhem ROC.
Heavy metal music.
Your weekly dose of metal music, interviews, album reviews, news, and more. Want to be part of the show? Send us a message through our website, metalmayhemroc.com, or hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Search Metal Mayhem ROC, a proud member of the Pantheon podcast team.
It's getting nice and heavy.
And now, welcome tonight's host, John the Vernomatic Verno.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well, staying healthy, and enjoying a little bit of spring fever. Third week of April, and I'll tell you one thing, there's a fever going on in upstate New York as Metallica rolls in to the JMA Wireless Dome this Saturday night, April 19th, for the launch of the 2025 U.S. North American 72 Seasons Tour. I'm pumped, man, because I've seen this tour the last couple summers, but I always had to travel. This time, it's in my backyard, so we're all ready for it. Me and part of the Metal Mayhem ROC road team, we're going up there, and we're really pumped because this is the start of the tour, but Friday night, the new documentary drops, Metallica Saved My Life. It's this new documentary that's dedicated to the fans, how Metallica's influence has helped these fans navigate through their lives. Well, I have a guest tonight. His name's Eric Vitale, and he's a super fan, but he's also a content creator because his Facebook group page, Burt School Metallica Death, is one of the largest and most detailed face group pages there is out there. He updates it throughout the day with cool video clips, anecdotes, and contributions from fans around the globe. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Eric submitted a video for this Metallica documentary, and they got back to him. He had to sign waivers, and he's not sure if his piece made the final product. It's going to be real interesting, but he talks about what he sent in there, and it's really cool what he sent in. And we just talk about the group page. We talk about seeing Metallica the last few summers, because Eric saw these tours too. And we just have a cool, little campfire discussion about the band we love so much in anticipation of this weekend's show and the launch of the tour. But before we get into that, I do want to give you a little warning that throughout the conversation, Eric shares a lot of his memorabilia that he's collected throughout the years, and it's a lot of visuals. So in the audio version of this podcast, you may be a little lost, but I invite you to go to our YouTube channel, Metal Mayhem ROC on YouTube, and the link will be in the show notes, and watch the video because there's a lot of cool stuff that he dug out of his vaults and he shares with us. So that's just a little disclaimer. But again, gotta give you an invite. Get up to our website, metalmayhemroc.com. Sign up for the newsletter. There you'll get alerts on everything we're doing here and reminders for the kick-ass radio show I produce and host on Monday nights on Metal Devastation Radio. And we ask you, if you like what we're doing here, do us a quick favor. Subscribe to the pod wherever you're listening to it. Leave a review, and we'll read some of those in future episodes. All right, well, let's get into it. New doc, Metallica Saved My Life. Eric Vitale from the Burt School Metallica Death Facebook group, and new tour insights. I'm the Vernomatic, and this is Metal Mayhem ROC. All right, so here we are, April 2025, and this weekend, Metallica starts the third leg, you should really say the third year, of the 72 season tour in Syracuse, New York. Me and the Metal Mayhem team will be up there checking it out, and I'm excited, just like I was 40 plus years ago the first time I saw him. But today we're going to talk about the album, and I have super fan and social media manager Eric Vitale. He operates the Burt School Metallica Death Facebook group page, and it's one of the best ones out there. Eric, welcome to Metal Mayhem ROC. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, John? Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So I met Eric a couple years ago. He reached out to me after the Kirk Hammett interview we did dropped, and since then we've stayed in touch. We actually had a chance to meet in Boston last summer. Well, Eric's here today to talk about his kick-ass fan page where he updates it a couple times a day. And we're just going to talk about the new Metallica Saved My Life documentary that's debuting this weekend and just give our overall interpretation of this tour again. So, Eric, again, welcome to the show, man. How are you and where are you located?
I'm in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, northern section of North Carolina, and I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here.
Cool, cool. So I gave Eric some heavy metal homework when I decided that we're going to do this. He went into his vaults. He dug up some old shirts, some old press memorabilia, credentials, and all these other goodies. He's going to share it with us. But right off the bat, tell us a little bit about this birth school Metallica death site. How did it start and what is it?
So basically, I've been a huge Metallica fan since I was like 11 years old. And I'm pretty current with keeping up to date with what they're doing. And I just wanted to somehow try and be involved, more involved than I already was. So I figured, I don't know anything about web design. I'm going to make a Facebook group and just run it like a website. Started it 2 years ago. It had a little bit of a slow start and then it just blew up. It's like on its way to having close to 10,000 members. There's a lot of really amazing people in there. I've been networking a lot. People like you, Andrew Rolbsky, Michael Alago. Everybody knows who Michael Alago is.
Yep, yep.
A lot of the Old Bridge militia members, Metal Joe, people like that. And yeah, I love running it. I love Metallica. It's a passion. You know, we're not fans, we're disciples. And I post quite often. I mean, at least a dozen times a day. And as you see, I have respect for all eras of the band. I love it all because it's all they're just the most honest band out there. So
Of course, of course. You gotta respect the fandom. And
mhm,
like you said, it's a passion, it's a way of life. And
definitely.
in this day and age, everything's so upside down. It's like you don't know what's going on. And it's good to throw yourself in something and bring joy. And like you said, that's impressive. Almost 10,000 strong in the
Yeah,
group.
yeah, it's getting there. It's blowing up. It's cool. I love it. And I just networking with people like people from Germany. And it's like, oh, I was at the Metal Hammer gig. I'm like, well, that's awesome. Share your memories. And I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like a Metallica detective. When I find a picture that I've never seen before, it blows my mind. And I love it.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
how you and I met. When you did that interview with Kirk,
yeah.
I felt like a kid on Christmas morning because I had never in my life seen pictures of Metallica recording Kill 'Em All, and those pictures are priceless.
Yeah, it's Metallica forensics, and you found it out.
Mhm.
Part of what we're going to discuss tonight is the new documentary, Metallica Saved My Life. It's a documentary that's focusing on the fans and how Metallica has impacted fans around the globe. And, they're one of the, quite honestly, maybe one of the biggest bands in the history of music, not metal, but music. They've played on every continent. They've played, I think, on both poles, North and South. Just incredible. So you have, tell us about your involvement in this Metallica Save My Life documentary, because it's an interesting little story.
So I want to say it was about a year and a half ago. Metallica made the announcement that they were going to do a documentary about super fans, and as soon as they made that announcement, I looked into it. They had a link on their website, and I did what I had to do. I sent him like a little 10-minute video of myself talking about me and why I love Metallica. And I kid you not, I got a call back within 10 minutes from a gentleman named Darren. What's up, Darren? And we started going back and forth. And he basically said to me that it's not going to be like your typical, like, oh, I've seen them 100 times. I've got this huge collection. It's going to be about how we all come from different walks of life, but we all share this mutual love and respect for Metallica. And what he really thought was interesting about me is that I'm a paranormal investigator. So I sent in footage of myself doing a little bit of a paranormal session where I was trying to communicate with the spirit of Cliff Burton on the 37th anniversary of his passing. So I did that and I sent it in and they loved it. and they told me they would keep in touch. And yeah, that was, I believe, last May I sent that footage in. So I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna be in it. I hope I am. If not, I have a lifetime of Metallica memories.
Yeah.
I'm happy either way. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'm in it
So you're not even going to know if you're in it
until I see it.
you until you see it.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? You're like, and you know what? It could be 30 seconds. It could be 2 minutes. It could be
Exactly.
nothing. It's well, that's
Exact.
awesome. So would you do on the anniversary, September of the
Um,
anniversary of Cliff's
sh-
death?
so I've been involved with the paranormal for a long time now, and I've got, lots of different types of equipment. So they wanted me to do like a seance in my house. And I'm like, all right, I got tons of paranormal equipment. So it was the anniversary of his passing. And I sat there in my living room and I just, as crazy as this may sound to your viewers, I don't know what people's beliefs are, and that's fine. I tried to communicate with Cliff, and I had Cliff on the television. I had the Day on the Green show playing. I had old Metallica cassettes surrounding me, and I had equipment. And I just tried. I did what I do when I go and investigate a haunting, and I sent in about an hour's worth of footage, and
Mm.
they loved it. And we'll see if it's in the movie.
Well, what happened in the seance? Did you hear anything from Cliff?
I
Were
heard I
there
heard a lot of things. I heard a lot of things. I heard sounds that were coming through that were somewhat resembling his bass sound, which was really cool. And the footage is actually on YouTube right now. I posted it on YouTube on my YouTube channel. It was a cool little session. Paranormal investigating, man. It's an interesting, wild thing. I just had a case a couple weeks ago. I investigated a haunted house right down the road here in North Carolina.
uh 1 second. I edit this.
No worries. Take a sip of water.
Well, that's something. I'll have that link for the Cliff seance that Eric did in the show notes here. So the Metallica, the documentary, it was announced this past week, and
Tuesday.
on Tuesday, and this, like I mentioned at the beginning, this Saturday, I'm going up to Syracuse. It's the kickoff of the 72 Seasons US 2025 tour, and they're playing the movie Friday night up at the Regal Destiny in Syracuse. But before we went to air, you're mentioning that a lot of these are already sold out.
I was looking at the site last night. Yeah, most of them are sold out. But if you go, let me know if I'm in the movie, man.
Well, well, unfortunately, I probably won't be making it because I'm going to the concert, but I'm 70 miles from Syracuse.
Right on. Okay.
So I don't see myself going Friday night to the movie, coming back.
Mhm.
Let's see. So the tour. Let's talk the tour.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Me too, man.
I've had a chance to see it several times. A couple summers ago, we were in New York, New Jersey.
Same.
Yep. And then last summer we were in Boston.
Same. Yep.
And you have tickets to Charlotte and Philly?
So I'm gonna be celebrating my 30th Metallica show on May 7th in Blacksburg, Virginia, and I'm going to the Charlotte show on May 31st.
Okay. So,
Which I just realized May 31st is my 31st Metallica show. That's kind of crazy.
all right. Well, you should, I don't know if you still drink beers. You should drink
Hell
31
yeah.
beers after the show.
Or before and after.
Well, you don't want to black out. Do 5 and then, the rest. So this tour, we've discussed this before, and the tours they've been doing the last couple years, it's been no repeat weekends. So they would play a Friday and then a Sunday, and they would play 16 different songs each night to make a 32 non-repeat set list. Well, I'm going to Syracuse, and it's only one night. So I'm a little, and now it looks like they've been cutting the set down by a song.
Yeah.
2 summers ago, it was 16 songs. Last summer, it was 15.
I think I wasn't it 18 songs when the tour started, and then when we saw them last summer, it was 16 because they're counting the Rob and Kirk Doodle as like a song, which it's cool, but I mean,
Oh, I'll have to fact check this, but the point being, I remember they went down one.
they
And
did. They did.
Eric, I have my opinion why. What's your opinion why they're decreasing the set list?
I mean, they're not young bucks anymore. I don't know. I'm trying to sugarcoat it. Yeah, it's not the Black Album tour anymore, and I'm sure certain members of the band need a little bit of a break. You know,
Yeah.
so it is what it is. I'm just happy these guys are still doing what they're doing, man. Lars
Yeah.
is playing better than he has in the last 20 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, everyone
He's
shits on
great.
Lars. There's like, oh, he sucks, this and that. It's like, listen, it's Lars's role in the band is just not the drummer. They would not be where they are without him. In the studio, his producing and his ear for assembly, his business knowledge right from the start has been second to none. And, like as a drummer, you could testify that he's gotten more consistent, if you will, and just a little more not so sloppy. I have no opinion. I'm not a drummer, so I can't say. I can't do it. I can't throw stones. I can't do any of it. So
I've definitely noticed, like for instance, like the end of Sanitarium, he's like nailing like that last roll as if it's like on the record. He's playing a lot better. I saw them a lot. Like I said, I'm about to go to my 30th show, so he was a little loosey goosey, even on like Death Magnetic tour. But yeah, he sounds so good. He's playing so good. And they all look like they're in pretty good shape. I mean, I know some people are talking like Lars is a little skinny, but the guy doesn't eat any meat, so
uh, he is thin. And for a second, I was almost thinking like maybe he's sick or something.
nah.
Yeah, but he is thin. But he even talks about, hey, he has to do the Peloton for an hour and a half every day, just to keep up, not just to enhance. And and he's talked about the physicality of it on those Howard Stern interviews. He was talking about, it's massages before the show, massages after the show, and you may be flying around in luxury and planes, and it's still, 40 years on the road, and it beats you up. So I'm looking forward to maybe, okay, I have probably seen maybe 7 or 8 songs off 72 seasons in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
How many different songs have we seen?
So here's the thing. There's only 3 songs they have not played off this record. Chasing Light, Room of Mirrors, and Crown of Barbed Wire. Those are the
Yeah.
only songs they haven't played off this record. I mean, could you believe they played Inamorata? Amazing.
Second Night Boston last summer.
That song could have been on Ride the Lightning, in my opinion. I love those long, epic
Yeah.
songs.
And we're starting to realize that stuff's making it into the set to save the voice. Because, it used to be every now and again you would hear Cthulhu. Every now and again you'd hear Orion. But now, God, some nights you're hearing both.
I never thought I'd live to see the day, John. I'm not even kidding, man. It's just like we're all standing there like dudes are like crying, like, oh my God, they're playing Orion. It's amazing. Beautiful thing.
Hey, it doesn't matter to me as long as I'm at the show, man. I have no problem whatever they play. Sometimes some of the stuff they don't play that often is what I look forward to hearing. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Eric's going to take us down heavy metal memory lane with some of his most vintage Metallica shows that he's seen throughout his career and some of his most prized possessions from his memorabilia vaults. We'll be right back.
Metal Mayhem ROC.
We're discussing all Metallica Spring 2025 with superfan and media creator Eric Vitale. His birth school Metallica death face group site is one of the best out there. The passion just bleeds through Eric. So, Eric, tell us about some of the concerts. When did you start seeing Metallica? Where did you see them? And before we get into seeing some of your memorabilia, we just want to remind listeners that we're going to spend some time. Eric's going to be showing us a lot of memorabilia. So after this, if you want to go back to our YouTube video and watch the version of this, you could see all this memorabilia up close and in full detail. All right, Eric, so tell us about your Metallica history. I'm excited.
I started going to Metallica concerts in the summer of 1996, right when Load was released. Begged my parents to let me go on the Black Album tour. They wouldn't let me. Begged them to let me go when the box set came out. They didn't let me. So 96, that was my time. So July 11th, 1996, Metallica played Randall's Island in New York. They were headlining Lollapalooza. That was my first Metallica show. And I still remember it to this day. A very good friend of mine who is no longer with us. I love you, Lance. I miss you. He brought me to that show. And a couple days later, I went with my band to, I want to say it was Syracuse. Um, yeah, New York State Fairgrounds,
Oh,
July
yeah.
13th. So I saw them twice in the summer of 96. That was my introduction. But memorable shows, Woodstock 99. I survived, man. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Metallica was incredible. And do you remember when they played the Roseland Ballroom? It was November of 19. You remember that?
Yeah,
All right. So, wow.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Wow. So my singer, I was in a band. I was in a metal band. Yeah. we went we went right from school, and we didn't have tickets. We bought tickets off a scalper. We got in. I remember I got on K-Rock's website, and then it was broadcast live on MTV. So I
Yeah.
remember my buddy and I got separated when we were in the crowd, and my parents were watching from home, and they flipped out because they didn't see me. And they're like, "Oh, we didn't get in," but I was in there. It was amazing. So yeah, I'd say Woodstock 99 and that Roseland gig. Those were like they were on fire.
Yeah, didn't the Roseland gig, wasn't that the show where they played tons of covers, or they're all covers, or?
Yes. They played an entire set of only cover songs, but what was really cool was they had a Metallica tribute band called Battery open up the
Yep.
show,
Yep.
and they played Metallica songs. And then I went and I saw them a week later at Dingbats in New Jersey.
Love Dingbats. You know,
I played there plenty of times. No, I'm sorry, the Rec Room. The Rec Room.
Oh, okay.
You remember the Rec Room?
No. I'm up here in Rochester. I just know Dingbats because Metal Walt, my partner here at Metal Mayhem ROC, he lives in New Jersey. So I've been to Dingbats a few times, and it's, it is what it is. I remember that Roseland show. I was in New York for the Kiss reunion shows. Me and my buddy, Cal Jammer, we went to the New Jersey shows, and then we went to the Madison Square Garden shows, and it was in November. It was around Thanksgiving time. And I remember I came home, and when I got home, I was watching the MTV thing. It was a good period. So
I got just a little cool thing about that night. I was right against the stage and up in the rafters on the side, standing, watching Metallica, headbanging with devil horns up, Scott Ian and Charlie Benante from Anthrax. It was such a cool moment.
Oh, sure. Those guys, well, we all know the history, Anthrax and Metallica. So you're going to your 30th and 31st.
Yeah, I'm going to my 30th on May 7th in Virginia, and then my 31st on May 31st.
Yeah.
So I'm happy, man.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna self-serve and make you feel bad and share some of my early Metallicas, but
I would love to hear it, man.
well, well, I'll start at the beginning. The first one I didn't see was the Ride the Lightning tour, because it was on January 20th, 1985. And I'm in Rochester. We're 60 miles from Buffalo, and we had the famous fucking blizzard. And my father would not let us go. And
I heard the story about the blizzard.
And as it turns out, a couple older kids, we were in high school, a couple older kids drove back roads there, and they ended up getting snowed in there. And in an interview with John Bush of Armored Saint, I mentioned that show, and he said, "Yeah, we got snowed in. We were there, and there was the Wasp Armored Saint Metallica tour." So I didn't see that. And then add salt to injury, I'm a huge Miami Dolphin fan. That was the day of the Super Bowl they played the 49ers.
All right.
And they fucking lost.
I
And in
don't mean to laugh.
even in the interview, John Bush, I love John, I shared the same story just like that. He goes, "Oh man, you had one shitty ass weekend." I go, "Yeah, John, fucking, rub it in a little bit." So the first time I had a chance to see him was 1986, Master of Puppets. And at the time I was doing college radio, and we interviewed the band before the show, hung out with Kirk Hammett and Lars, and actually drove them around Rochester for about 2 hours. And that was the first time I met the band, and that was the first time I saw them. And then back in those days, they would play Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, Glens Falls. So I saw the Justice Tour like 4 or 5 times. Black Album 4 or 5 times, because they would go everywhere. And I haven't missed them since.
Cool.
I've seen all those shows. I never did any of the Lollapaloozas, because in 96, I was having kids, and I was still pissed off over the 90s because I hated all those fucking bands.
It was an interesting time for me. I'm a little younger.
Yeah.
But I'm like old school diehard thrash. So it's like, Load came out, and like they cut their hair or whatever. And like, it was a different sound, but I loved it. I knew at some point they were going to like come full circle and go back to their roots. But I remember that being a really interesting time, and I hate new metal. Sorry guys. I hate new metal. So I just wanted to hear all those old songs, and Metallica played a lot of new stuff around that time.
Well, yeah, and it's all good. I remember when Load came out, I went to the House of Guitars to get the album, the CD, I get it, and I look at it, I'm like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? And, I don't need my Kirk Hammett with eyeliner on. And I didn't mind it. I really didn't. I remember the first single was Until It Sleeps. Yeah. And I'm like, it's a little different. I really like, out of the two, Load a lot better than Reload. And I've tried with Reload, and it's just, there's not enough punch there for me. So I saw Metallica, like I said, I haven't stopped seeing them multiple times. Every time they come around, Magnetic, Hardwired several times. Yep. I don't even know how many. I'll have to do it somewhere in the 40s, something like that.
Right on, man. See, actually, I made a list because I don't want to forget.
Yeah. Well, that's somewhere. I got a lot of the stubs, but let's have you start showing some of your memorabilia. What do you got for us, man?
All right. So the most recent, couple of months ago, I found this on eBay. So it's
keep it up. Show it up again. Let's see this. What is this?
So this is Metallica on the cover of High Times from 1990.
Okay,
and it's got a really cool interview with Cliff Burton in it, because Cliff was he liked his wacky tobacco. So that's a cool little piece. I found that for like less than $20. This is the tour book from Poor Touring Me. I got this at my third Metallica show. Sorry about the glare.
Yeah, that's fine.
I got this on April 1st, 1997 at Brendan Byrne Arena.
All right. How much was that?
I don't remember, man. I was like 15 years old. Damaged Justice and Justice for All.
Yeah.
I got 2 of them because one of them says tour on the cover and the other one does not.
That's a sick fucking tour.
Yeah, I wish, man, but I got some really cool stuff here. This is probably the coolest piece. So this is a bootleg called Night of the Rivet Heads. And as you see, it's signed by James, Lars, Kirk, and Robert. Now, Metallica played Madison Square Garden on the Death Magnetic tour. They played 2 nights in a row. I went to both shows. Well, on night 2, I won a meet and greet, and I got to meet my heroes, and they loved the fact that I had a bootleg for them to sign. And I had questions for Lars because I'm a drummer. And I'm like, Lars, what's up with this drum set on the back? Where is it? And he's like, oh, that actually got stolen. And I'm like, oh, that's the drum set that got stolen. And then you borrowed, equipment from Anthrax. And he's like, yeah, you're right. You should write a book about us. Fast forward to right now, I actually started writing a book about my Metallica adventures. So stay tuned for that.
All right.
This is from the Death Magnetic tour. They had played a couple of shows at the Wachovia Center in Philly. You know who Big Mick is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's been working their sound since
Yeah.
'84. So at that time in my life, I was working for an AstroTurf company. When the season was done, as a bonus, my boss got me and my buddy comped tickets. So we sat in like a VIP section right behind Big Mick, and we watched him like run the board, and he gave me that. He
Yeah.
gave me the set list.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
This is a this is a very interesting item. These are Lars Ulrich's earplugs. I was at a show on the Death Magnetic tour in New Jersey.
Excuse me, Eric. Keep showing that. Those are interesting.
These are Lars's earplugs.
All right.
So I was at a show in New Jersey at the Prudential Center. Metallica comes out. They're playing the first song, Blackened. As soon as they're done playing, I see Lars take earplugs out and drop them on the floor. They landed underneath his floor toms. Kept my eyes locked on him throughout the gig. As soon as the show was over, I grabbed the security guard. I said, get me those earplugs. And he got me the earplugs. And to this day, they're probably the coolest piece in my collection. What else we got here? Everybody's got to have a couple of Lars Ulrich drumsticks in their collection. These were both obtained on the Death Magnetic tour. One of them was night one in MSG. Real quick, cool story. Lars came over to me. He went to give me a drumstick, and I said, no, give it to my brother. That's how I am. He said, okay. So he gave it to my brother. Then he wrapped back around and came back over and gave me a stick. So then there's my younger brother and I like, oh my God, Lars just gave us both sticks.
Yeah.
So that was just a great moment. What do we got here? This is from when Metallica played Giant Stadium on July 17th, 1998. So this is for the Reload tour. It's Jason's autograph. A buddy of mine ended up getting backstage, and he got a couple autographs, and he gave me this. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how I managed to keep this in such good condition, but you remember when they put out this baby in 1993?
Yeah, I got it.
This thing is in mint condition, and I got this on Christmas morning, 1993. I love this thing.
You know, that's funny that you say in mint condition because I have it in non-mint condition. But
I've seen them pretty beat up.
But I've always saved it. It's down in my archives. It's all flat, and I have all that. But
I love this thing.
Yeah, it's a great package.
It's amazing. It's pointless for them to do something like that nowadays because it's like, we're in the digital age, and every show gets put on a CD, and you can buy it on their website. Like the shows we were at together, I've got those CDs.
Yeah, I got those too, and it's good quality. It's
yeah. What do we got? This is like a crew pass from the Puppets tour. I bought this at like a little mom and pop shop when I was a teenager. Music Connection in Vernon, New Jersey, a long time ago. I was like 17. So that's a pretty cool piece. I actually I got in contact with Metal Joe about a month ago. Remember Metal Joe? And,
yeah, Old Bridge.
Some people like basically through my Facebook group, they hooked us up, and he told me to give him a call. We talked for a bit, and I got some items sent to me. So this right here is a patch that is going to go on my battle vest.
There you go.
And if I could find room, because remember when we met, I was wearing this.
Yeah.
So real quick story about this thing, man. My mom bought me this jean jacket when I was like 13. She showed the patch on the back for me. And then I wore it religiously until I was a senior in high school. That's when I got my first leather jacket. Sat in a closet for years. Then I went to the Orion Festival in Atlantic City. Remember, they did
Yeah.
Ride the Lightning in full in the Blackout.
Yeah.
James came out wearing a battle vest, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so cool. And a light bulb went off. I'm like, I'm gonna cut the sleeves off my jean jacket and make a Metallica battle vest. And I didn't get around to it until I met my wife. So she started sewing all these patches on for me, and she's been sewing them on ever since.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he had 3 of those made. Those battle
Yeah,
vests.
yeah, I
I
go
forget
ahead.
who I was talking to. Someone through one of these interviews, and we were talking about it that he had 3 of them made. That's awesome. You got anything else?
There's got to be at least 50 guitar picks in here from all the shows I've been at. Um, for some reason, I always get a lot from Kirk. I can't remember if it was the Boston Calling show or a show in Buffalo a couple years ago, but he nailed me right in my forehead, and it stuck to my head. And then when we were in Foxborough, it was night 1. I caught the last guitar pick Kirk threw out. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, there's some guitar picks in here from like the Black Album tour. Like you see like the green in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bopping around in there. But yeah, I got there's quite a few in there. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see some t-shirts?
Yeah, you show us a couple, then we'll move on.
This is a crew shirt from the Lollapalooza tour. I've got 2 of them, mint condition. You can find these on eBay for a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one I'm about to show you, I'm not going to ever get rid of any of this stuff, but I saw this on eBay for $1,200. Have you seen this shirt?
No.
This is a crew shirt from the Black Album tour. And I got this when I was in the Metallica club when I was a kid.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's awesome.
One more shirt. This is the shirt of all shirts. This is the first Metallica shirt I ever got. My father worked with a guy when I was a kid, and he was going to see Metallica at Brendan Byrne Arena in 1992. Dad felt bad. He wouldn't let me go to the show, so he gave the guy money, and he bought me a T-shirt. I got to frame it because it's falling apart. But
Yeah. Let me ask you, why didn't Pops let you go to the show?
oh, I was like 12 years old, 92.
You know, that hits home
You know?
because my favorite band is Van Halen. And my father, late father, God rest his soul, great man, miss him every day, said I couldn't start going to concerts until I was 13. And I had an older brother who's like 3-4 years older. And that's how I got into all this stuff. From him, that's how I got into Rush in the 70s and, Van Halen. And so my first show was September 1980, Ted Nugent. But I turned 13 in July. So I know how that is, Yeah. So let me ask you. I'll share a couple quick stories on mine. Cool. Metallica's Black Tour, Rochester, New York. About at 2 hours before the show, my buddy calls me. He goes, listen, my sister or my cousin works at WCMF, the local radio station. We got Snake Pit tickets. I'm like, awesome. That was the time they were playing in the diamond shape. So on the way down to the War Memorial, again, remember back then, these were general admission shows. Yeah. You go anywhere. I stop at my sister-in-law's house, borrow her camera. There I am in the Snake Pit, taking pictures, Jason, everyone. No film in the camera, I find out after the show. Like, what the hell? Rookie move. Fast forward to July 16th, 1989. We're in Syracuse, New York at the Weedsport Speedway. Metallica and the Cult. Fucking about 90 degrees. Best Metallica show I've ever seen in my life. That's my top show. But the fun part about that was I had these, I had this shirt made, like a white golf shirt, and on the back said security. And so before the show, I was going around the parking lot confiscating bootleg T-shirts from people and mimicking I was a security guard. But the reason we did that was because me and my buddy, Jeff Ziegler, I got to give him a shout out. We played the role of me as the security guy, him as the out of control rock fan. But instead of having the security guy bring someone from the front of the stage out, we did it reverse. We went from the back of the crowd to the front of the stage saying, coming through. And we went all the way up to the stage.
That's cool.
You could check out the set list on setlist.com, whatever that site is. I think they played something like 24, 25 songs. All my fucking favorites. Four Horsemen, Damage. It was 89. I still say that was Metallica in their prime.
Well, that's probably like the last time they ever played Eye of the Beholder. And that's when they were doing a lot of like, Kirk had a guitar solo and Jason had a bass solo. And yeah, they were on fire, man.
But it was they had it because it was a 2-hour and 45-minute concert. It was, they were just partying with all their friends. That's when James was in full fucking beer mode.
Jägermeister days.
Yeah, that and everything else. So
yeah.
I love the Magnetic tours. I love the Black Album tours. It was, there's never been a Metallica show I didn't enjoy. It's not a matter. It's just those stood out a little above and beyond. Like I said, I had a chance to meet the band. We interviewed Lars and Kirk in the lobby of the Rochester Plaza Hotel, April 14th, coming up. It'll be April 14th, 1986. And James and Cliff came in off the bus and we just briefly met them. They were coming in from Syracuse, but I didn't know any better. I was like, 18 years old and I called James Jimmy.
Did he get mad?
He had that red bandana on with his backpack. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. He didn't even know, they played Syracuse the night before. So, but Cliff was cool. We did the interview. And like I said, at the end of the interview, Kirk says to us, hey, you got a car? Or we're like, yeah, we got a car. So I took him down to Nikki's News and went to the House of Guitars. And these were all places they visited when they were here 3 years earlier recording Kill 'Em All. So, so that's the last time I ever, I haven't had a chance to meet him again since, but been a fan.
Didn't you meet Kirk when we hooked up in Foxborough? Didn't you meet Kirk, or was that just Andrew?
Just Andrew.
Okay.
Yeah. It's and it was only like 3 or 5 minutes. It was right before they were going on, and it's and rightfully so. I was the producer of that interview, and I have my history with them. And listeners, if you're new to the Metal Mayhem ROC brand, what we're talking about was an interview that me and our team did with Kirk Hammett in November of 2023, talking about the making of Kill 'Em All. We had the second chair engineer, Andrew Robleski, and Rob the Warhead Thomas on the show. These were the guys that recorded the album, and Rob Thomas befriended Metallica back in the day, like drove them around, and they also brought, like, each had a stack of pictures. So this video's on our YouTube channel, well over 92,000 views and counting. And
it's pinned on my group page. It's pinned. So you can't help but see it when you go on my group page.
I have to say, it is really good. It's
fantastic. I love it.
It's fun stories like this, but you got Kirk Hammett and the guys that he made the album with and hung around with all these never seen before pictures.
I'm telling you, man, it's kid in a candy store. When I saw that, it spread like wildfire. Like within minutes, the pictures were all over the internet. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. So props to me. And in any
Hell
case,
yeah, that was cool.
All right. Well, you know what? Is there anything else we can promote? Again, Birth School Metallica Death is the site. And get out there and say hello to Eric and share your Metallica story or memorabilia. He's a cool dude. We're all in this together.
Just look for the battle vest at a Metallica show. Just look for the battle vest.
Oh, you'll be the one with the battle vest?
That battle vest that I just showed you.
Yeah. Enjoy your shows. We will. Yes, I will. I'll have a report from the road, and we'll stay in touch. So,
oh yeah.
So the tour starts again April 17th in Syracuse. There's still tickets. And they're going all around the country again, aren't they? They're going down south this time, Charlotte,
Yeah,
Virginia.
Charlotte, Virginia, Philly,
Yep.
here and there. It's not the longest tour. I think it's just, they'll be done like sometime in June.
Yeah, but you know what? Just Google Metallica. You
Hell
people,
yeah.
you people know the drill. All right, Eric. Hey, thanks for taking a walk down Metallica memory lane, and props to you for doing what you do, and you do one hell of a job.
Appreciate it. Likewise.
Okay.
Anytime, man. Thank you.
All right. Well, for my guest, Eric Vitale from Birth School Metallica Death, I'm the Vernomatic, and we are Metal Mayhem ROC.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.